Greetings and salutations, nerds, geeks, fans of D&D, friends, and mostly family. Welcome to another Ramshackle production. A stream that promises that if you watch one episode, you'll politely chuckle at least once. We appreciate you showing up and giving us an opportunity to try to entertain you. You do have a choice, and your choice matters. If you like what you see, don't be afraid to follow and even subscribe if you're so inclined. We play Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. We're playing in a home-brewed world. We do have products from Wizards of the Coast seeded throughout our home-brewed world with no affiliation to Wizards of the Coast in any way, shape, or form. Lawyers, leave us alone. We started off last week. We kicked off, and we had the party all arrive at Saltmarsh for a variety of reasons. We had our two Tritons arrived on a ship called the Cowabunga. Captain Michelangelo had left them at port. They were stuck on an atoll for about a month after they encountered some sort of issue. Then we had Bones and Valkorian who arrived, our sea elf and our turtle friend. Hey, thank you for the bits. Our sea elf and our turtle friend that were brought to shore by Captain Ron on the Albandingo, and he was promptly arrested once he came to shore. And the crew was told that they needed to find jobs before the end of the day, and they made their way to the Wicker Goat. Warren Forgeworn, dwarf who works in the area at the Dwarven Mine, was summoned to the Wicker Goat to talk to Monastrad Steelbreaker, who put him on a quest to check out a haunted house that has been causing some concern for people that are going to build the road between Saltmarsh and the mining camp that the dwarves have recently set up. Warren was asked to take this group along, and he were offered 200 gold to do so, and a promise from Monastrad to speak to the magistrate when he arrives in 4 days on Captain Ron's behalf. So, we kick off this session with the 5 members of this group sitting at a table in a crowded inn near the end of the day. Players, what are your actions?
How many people are in this tavern?
There's probably about 15 or 20 people. It's fairly rowdy. Not rowdy, but crowded. There's a lot of background noise. There's some fishmongers, some fishermen. You see, some townsfolk. There's a smattering of guards and craftsmen around. The bartender, Lankus, is behind the bar pouring ales out of the 3 large kegs that you can see there. Yeah, pretty crowded, you would think.
Okay.
There's not really an open seat anywhere in the bar, so it's fairly crowded.
Okay. As we're sitting down, did anyone take notice as someone yelled out "haunted house" in the last session? That seems like something that would get some attention at a tavern.
Make a perception roll from last week. We'll retcon that in.
Okay. Not super perceptive. I'll roll them 3D dice.
Yeah.
7. No, you didn't really get. No one really brought it up. Carl seems to be pretty adamant about it, and as you think of that, you look around and Carl's just kind of making his way around the tables, trying to get free drinks, free food from various tables in the bar. He appears to be a tolerated nuisance, if you will.
So, Carl, obviously I know Carl, he's probably brought it up with me before, but is there anybody else in town? Have I ever heard about this house before, or is this kind of the first time I'm hearing about it?
No, you've heard about it. The townspeople, it's come up before in your conversations with Carl, and other folks in town have mentioned it. It's about 4 miles east of town. Folks try to avoid it. There's definitely, it's got a bad reputation. Carl's the only person who admittedly has been there. Most folks just try to avoid it.
Okay.
That man Carl there is a scholar, and we can trust him. I have a good feeling about him.
If you say so, my good friend, but I'm not so sure about these other fellows.
It's a haunted house. I don't think we have much to worry about. I think we ran into a banshee one time. How long ago was that, Valkarian? That was a month ago?
Not more than, I'll probably say 3 weeks, 10 days.
And how long have we been on the sea? It's been 3...
Not long enough.
Well, yeah, exactly. But long enough to only run into one banshee.
All right, lads. Well, you see, this is a small town. I've been in larger cities never run into anything scary here before. Mostly just hammering pickaxes and the like. I can't imagine anything bad will be happening while we're there.
Well, sounds to me then like we've got a free history lesson where my friend and I here can retrieve the book on Triton history that the man Carl mentioned before and collect some free coin just for sleeping in the night in a dusty old house. Sounds good to me, but I will be keeping my hammer close to my side nonetheless.
And as long as the dwarf keeps his pants on.
We've had quite a few issues with that up and down the Sword Coast.
Promises mean nothing on the open sea.
It's a very cultural thing. You wouldn't understand. It's a sign of trust and great respect.
I get 2 shark shits. Keep your pants on.
But before we go do that, lads, given you guys just got off a boat and you kind of smell of fish and piss, should we perhaps turn in for the night, or maybe go get you some clothes or gill covers?
I leave it to a dwarf to not enjoy the brine of a good day's labor.
Nimbus is still drinking from like a large bucket. He drinks like 5 gallons of water at a time.
At that, Lake just kind of leans over in between Nimbus and Maris and kind of sloshes a little bit. Got another bucket of water. You're up to 7 gallons now, so I'll bring you that other gallon. You went through our reserves and the boys out back pumping the well, so give us a bit and we'll get you some more water.
He goes, very good, and he hands him the empty bucket and takes the new full one and begins working on that immediately.
I'm gonna lean over to forget the name. Oh gosh, the monk, Mike's character.
Maris.
I'll lean over to Maris and be like, "Your friend sure has a good taste for ale."
I have always found him to be quite thirsty.
All right.
And he watches a barmaid go by right as he says that.
Do me a favor. Let's see. Warren.
Yeah.
Roll me a perception check, would you?
Forgot. Is that a D20?
Yeah.
And you'll add whatever your perception bonus is. Ooh, that's looking good.
Where's my perception bonus? Oh, 11? No, wait, I'm an idiot.
It's 1.
One.
So yeah, it's
20.
a 20, dirty 20. You notice in the table over here behind Bones and Maris, a couple of they look like workers, day laborers. They're wearing standard clothes, but they have some thick boots on and apron. One of them's wearing an apron. But you hear them say, "Yeah, that one over there. He's gonna check out the house. He might get some work on the road if he's able to show that that it's okay and get people not scared of it anymore." And the guy across the table from him, "Well, I don't know about that, Saul. I'm not too keen on them ghost taps." So you overhear that these two, and then you kind of lose the rest of the conversation in the hustle and bustle of the inn as the barmaid walks by again over Maris's right shoulder, and he kind of leans forward to do the looky-loo, so you kind of lose sight of them talking for a second.
Nimbus is going to lean over to Warren and go, "Do the people of this town, do they fear the haunted house that we are going to be investigating, or is it something that the townsfolk scoff at?"
Most folks are afraid of it. It's all sheets tails if you ask me, but
So
most
Nimbus, you say most folks are afraid of it, and then before you can even continue, Nimbus jumps and puts both of his feet on the table and goes, "Townsfolk, worry not. We will cleanse the evil from the haunted house, and we will save you and deliver you from your fears. My name is Nimbus Fulgorath, and this will be the first of many adventures that we have and capers that we lead on our way to greatness. The Tritons are your saviors, and you are safe now with me."
I need two rolls. I need 2 rolls from you. One, I need an athletics or acrobatics check, whichever you want to do, for the standing still leap onto a table that you attempted.
He's had a lot of water too. He's sloshing.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll definitely do a slosh check as well.
You take a
athletics.
bloated penalty.
Athletics or acrobatics, whatever you want.
All right,
As
all
he
right.
makes the jump up there, I'd like to do the cloak of many fashions. Go ahead and adjudicate. Sorry.
What is that total there?
It's an 8.
So as you jump up and you begin your
Kinda
speed,
stumble.
yeah, you kind of stumble and the water definitely it tilts to one side of your body. So as you're giving it, you're kind of standing like this, the beginning of your speech, and you got folks kind of looking at you. At first, a little bit with ludicrous, and then while you roll me a persuasion/performance check while I see what Lee was doing with his cloak.
So I'd like just very simple script to write out across my back as I go stand in front of him that claims made are not legally binding, ... and then just kind of stand there with my back to the crowd.
All right, so I was gonna have you roll that at advantage with his help there, but I mean you can. It's a 19. You can roll again just for kicks and giggles to see if you get a 20.
Let's
But
do it for
That
giggles.
natty.
Yeah,
oh
19 it is.
I saw
yeah,
it.
so 19.
That's funny.
So
I've
yeah,
got no pluses, so that's just a raw 19. That was
so
good.
at first folks are kind of, you hear some, scoffing. Some people are putting their head down and laughing. You get a couple of weird men in the back, and then as you continue your prattling on, and folks just kind of go back to their meal. They're not really impressed, but they're not unimpressed. They're really you didn't make a fool of yourself, but they really don't give two shits because you're just some strange dude jumping on a table at an inn. And then Lankus goes, friend Triton, if be careful, if you could get down, please, we don't want anyone to hurt themselves here.
Well played on winning the hearts and minds of the town folks.
The town pokes.
He sits back down and goes, "They will know our greatness soon enough, my friend." And
Awesome. It's probably it's getting on to be about 4:30, 5 o'clock. People cut out early today because it was a good fishing day the day before and this morning. So it was people were headed home. That's why it's kind of crowded here. So it's getting to be near sun's getting to the point where it's going to start going down soon.
All right, gentlemen, you feeling sporty this evening? Got a good stretch of the legs in you, or you needing to bed down?
I'm ready whenever you guys are. I do not need to shower. I've had plenty of water.
It just sambles the rest.
I look at the other Triton. Fucking bad at names.
Nimbus and Maris.
Yeah, I look at Nimbus, confused by him stating water, and I'm like, "Us water you drinking, lad?" And just like incredulous at that being water.
Yeah, so Nimbus goes, "I am a Triton from the elemental plane of water, and it is the giver of life, and it is all that anyone should ever need."
You get about 2 words into that before I just start looking elsewhere.
Sure.
Well, I'm good to go for the night if you guys are good to bed down there. I bet Carl can tell us if there's beds or anything inside.
With that, Carl suddenly appears at your elbow, and as you just finished setting down your tankard of ale that you were drinking, he reaches over to try to grab it. While your hand's still on it, he's kind of sliding his hand over your hand to kind of
I'm
pull it
gonna
away.
pull a dagger and stab it down into the table next to his hand.
Give me an attack at advantage because it's a fairly simple attack, and he's not engaged in combat with you.
Yet.
Ready to punch his face off.
Yeah, 2 nat ones, and the dagger goes in Carl's eyeball. Okay, that's good.
So that would be a. +6.
Yeah, it's a 19 then. So yeah, your dagger goes, and it embeds into the table a good two inches or so, and then the camera zooms in, and then 2 little arm hairs floating through the air settle on the top of the table from Carl's arm. Oh, wait, I mean, sir.
Now, Carl, we'll have no horns swaggling out of you. Best if you're going to be leeching off our ale, you better be providing some kind of compensation or some kind of value.
Oh, I bring the most value. I told you I got the job for you guys. No harm, no foul. And like that, he just kind of fades away again, and he's back moving around to other tables.
Can I take some? Well, I'm gonna lean over to God, I'm bad at this Nimbus and say I'm gonna like start to take some of his water from him and be like, I know the right way to get information out of Carl. Give me some of your water, and I'm gonna pour it into my mug if he doesn't stop me from doing that.
Yeah. I'll push the bucket over. I've had my fill.
So I'm gonna pour it into that mug I've got. That,
Yep.
What is? Yeah, that mug.
Yep.
I'm gonna call Carl over and like wave him over. Carl, come over here.
Oh, yeah.
Tell you what.
Yes. What is it?
You can have this entire tankard of alcohol if you tell us everything you know about the night you were in there.
Well. And he reaches over and he grabs the tankard, and he starts to slide it.
I'm gonna grab both of his arms and stop him and say, "Not until you're done, lad."
Oh, okay. Well, I was out hunting wild game. There was some weasels, and there was some dragon scuttles, and then there was there was just a lot of big creatures. You know, about yay big. I was hunting. Varmint is what I think you might call them. Anyways, I needed a place to rest, and I saw the haunted house, or the house as it were, and I made my way into the back door, and then I heard this evil, cackling laughter. The wind kicked up and the door shut, so I ran inside, and there was a staircase. I ran upstairs. I went into this room, and then I heard some more, like, just evil noises, chains rattling. So I ran back downstairs, and there was a whole bunch of books, and that was when I saw the thing with the name, the full something on the side, and then I ran out, and that's all I know about that place.
Oh, Carl, you're speaking about giggling. Is it like whenever a lady sees you in the privy? That kind of giggling?
Well, it's been a long time since that's happened for old Carl. But if you were to give me a few bits, I might be able to make something work down at the dockside inns.
And I'll pull my dagger and brandish it and say, well, I'd be more than happy to remove a few bits.
You're a violent man.
Bones like put his arm out on it and be like, "We're good." Like stop him for a second.
Of course.
I'll sit back.
Yeah. It's great. Devin, give yourself an inspiration point for staying true to your character, as well as everybody who doesn't have one, give yourself an inspiration. It was pretty good role playing. Yep, with the water and everything. So that was good. And so
the rousing speech? Not the rousing speech?
Yeah, the role playing. That was the rousing speech from Dan.
That was inspired.
So Carl tells you that story, and then he's like, yeah. So that's all I know. I hope that's enough to go off of. Can I have the drink now?
I'll take my hands off of his hands and let him have the water.
And he goes, and he's.
I'll look to Bones and be like, does this sound like the Banshee you fought previously, or is this?
This sounds like a lot of horse shit. I'll stop you right there. This lighthouse, or this haunted house, and I want to get to our captain. I don't know what this means. We need to get work by the end of the day. That's what we're here for. And if we need to go down, and as long as the dwarf doesn't take his pants off, we're gonna be fine.
I'm starting to wonder why you've got such an affinity for my pants, lad.
I'm just fucking.
Awesome. So you guys, Carl finishes his drink and he looks over and says, some of the worst ale I've ever had. But yeah, best of luck to you guys. And he, again, the thing about Carl Bones that you're noticing is you definitely think he's full of shit, but he does have quite an affinity for sort of disappearing and appearing. So there's definitely, in your work, in seeing Valkorian and how he's moved about the ship and his stealth skills, if you will, there's definitely something about Carl that leads you to believe that he may not be completely full of shit. Mostly full of shit, but maybe not completely full of shit. Like, he's gotten a fist fight once, and he won that one fist fight, but, you know, in his mind, he's a UFC fighter.
Yeah, no, in my mind right now, I'm just occupied as being the first mate of the ship, trying to get Captain Ron off.
Totally. Yep.
Not get him off, but. And so, like, this is all seems kind of like drivel to me right now, because as a first mate, like, your captain is kind of your shit. So he's like, Bones is in the middle about to, like, he sees his biggest thing is knowing magic exists, but other than that, he hasn't really experienced any supernatural shit. So he think he's a skeptic. He's skeptical.
Sure. That makes total sense. Yeah. So
Now,
what do you?
boys, you want to be setting off. If you heard Minestrone there earlier, she's ready to get us out there and get us reporting back. That gets us to our captain quicker. So I suggest we keep moving.
That's
Ready when you are.
I'm ready.
Leads the way.
So I guess I will lead the way out.
Aye, you better be keeping pace. We don't need those stumpy legs holding us up.
okay. Where do I put my inspiration point in? I'm sorry.
On the very front of your character sheet, in between your
Okay.
speed and your health, there's a little box for inspiration. Just click that, and it'll put a symbol in it.
Speed and health. Okay, I will find it.
So, in Saltmarsh, you guys are currently over here in the southwest of Saltmarsh, and then this map, unfortunately, is laid out a little awkwardly. North is to the left of the screen, and you have to head upwards on the map to the east to head to the this is the old coast road here, and that'll take you to the haunted house. Good night, Lucas. Love you, son. That'll take you to the haunted house. It's about 4 miles east of town. So as you make your way out of the Wicker Goat and start making your way down the road here to the Shark Fin Bridge, as you're passing onto the bridge right about here, you hear behind you a small feet approaching very very quickly. And then you look back and you see a small child is there, and the small child looks up at the dwarf and starts talking to him.
Hey, sir, how'd you grow that mustache? Did you bleach it? How is it so curly? What's your weapon made of? How did you do it? Did you make it? Who's your blacksmith? Can I buy from you? Can I touch your beard? It looks really soft.
And then as the turtle turns around,
Hey, what's a turtle, and what's your name, and are you a turtle? Have you ever watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle? Are you Raphael? You kind of look like Raphael. Do you have little ninja saws, or do you have little red bandanas?
and at that point he sees this elf in this large wearing this leather armor and this large pirate type hat, kind of walking next to the turtle.
Are you a pirate? You have a really cool hat, by the way. Your ears are long and pointy. What are you? You kind of look weird. I'm sorry, not going to be rude, but I am.
And as you guys keep walking, this child just keeps asking you questions and haranguing you throughout as you begin your way across the Shark Fin Bridge.
Oh, he's an old salt. I've seen many like him in the past. They abuse the corpses.
How did the children take that?
The elf looks back over you and says, "He's an old salt. That's the type that abuses corpses."
What?
As you guys make your way across the bridge, there's movement around the town. You've got, again, it's nearing to the end of the business day, so folks are starting to make their way back from the docks to their homes. We're getting their loads of fish to the processing plants and to the factories. You've got the blacksmiths along the street doing their work. It's not a busy market day by any stretch of the word, but there's definitely a lot of activity going around at this point. Do you guys continue to make your way towards the east of town?
Lads, do any of you need to procure any supplies or provisions before we head over to the haunted house?
I'd like to fill my water skin with some good sleeping juice, if you will, before we head out.
And so
Sleeping juice.
Warren, you would know, as having been spent quite a bit of time in Saltmarsh thus far, you would know that there's a few shops in town. There's the Green Market shop. Kester's Leather Goods. The weekly market, which is at this time of day, really doesn't have a lot of activity normally. The Dwarven Anvil and Winston's store. And I sent you those notes in DM, so you should be able to relay that in character to your friends if so inclined.
Yeah. Does anybody else need anything? I think I'm gonna head over to Winston's store.
What are they buying? What are they selling?
What are they selling? I'll buy it at a high price.
Oh well, we could go over to the green market and grab, food and animals. I guess I don't really like animals. Or we could go to, well, they have a leather market and another market that's closed down. And my favorite's the Dwarven Anvil because the last behind the anvil is, well, she's got a lot of steel in her back, if you know what I mean. And then Winston's store is where I'm gonna go get some ale.
Question: could we go to our ship at all?
You could certainly try. Yes, there's nothing.
I mean, like, would we know that it's been impounded, or
it has been
anything like that based upon the altercation?
Yeah, so it's clearly the captain of the guard was clear about it being impounded,
Okay.
and you've only been away from it for a few hours, so they're probably still going through the stuff on the ship. I mean, you can do as you wish, but in your mind, you know that they're actively, deboarding the crew still, and probably going through the goods in the cargo hold.
Okay.
Mr. Bones, you got a mind to go back to the ship?
Well, I mean, why do we need to go anywhere else when we have everything on the fucking ship? But we don't have to do that. I mean, I'm the fucking first mate. I should know this shit.
Hey, you had quite a bender before we came into port. I wouldn't worry too much about it.
I am hungover as shit. Okay. Well, if we're gonna do anything, we can just go back to the ship. But, I mean,
I'll fashion you a ginkgo biloba poultice on our way out.
that would do me something right.
So what are your actions at this point then? What's the party? Where are they headed? What are we doing here?
I don't need to pick up anything, so I'm good. I'll probably go. Hey fellas, I'll meet you at the edge of town. Just gonna give a look-see for our way out. See how heavily the road's traveled.
Yeah, and I don't need to go anywhere. But my only thought, but I don't owe any allegiance to these guys, so I don't know why I'd let them on the ship to get anything. So I'm going up with fucking Lee Valkorian.
So to that end, though, Nimbus will say, my new adventuring friends, if we complete our task this night successfully and we have all of this gold to split amongst ourselves, and you need to procure any of the goods left behind at the ship that has been confiscated by the authorities here in the port, I would be happy to assist you in the morning in procuring whatever you need.
That sounds good. I like that because we never talked about splitting any gold between me and Valkorian. So that's on the table. That's good to hear. So what's our share?
Well, my thought was maybe we just... I'll forego my usual finder's fee for something like this that the guild would charge on behalf of it being guild work. And I say we just split it evenly.
That sounds fair to me.
Is that works?
Of course.
God damn it, Valkorian.
The elf is a man of many words. In that case, lads, I suppose I can forego a night of drinking. If there are ghosts up there, I probably ought to be sober anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, by all means, if you need your liquid courage, then bring all the courage you need with you.
I'm sure I could survive a night anyway. It'll be alright.
Nimbus lets out like a 45-second long foghorn of a burp. From having drank so much water earlier.
They don't call him the foghorn for nothing.
And all of his various holes for gills and stuff, and try to figure out where the air is coming from.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a leak, you gotta get soapy water. It'll bubble for you.
So you guys are making your way to the east
Yeah,
of town,
well,
is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, we're gonna keep going to the house, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So you guys make your way to the edge of town, and as you reach the the east end of town here, and leave the buildings behind, the hustle and bustle of the city behind you fades away as you begin to walk along the old coast road. Thanks for the sub donation there. Appreciate that. Let me bring this up.
Oh,
Sorry.
nice.
Hey, look, it's a guy's crotch gyrating about.
So the road to the house winds through the rocky coastal terrain, often offering a view of the sea below. Low clouds press upon you. Occasional patches of sunlight appear over the water. A stiff wind blows in off the waves, carrying the briny stink of churning salt water. I need tell me your marching order as you guys are making your way east, if you don't mind, please.
I figure.
imagine I'd be leading.
Yeah, I'm okay with hanging out. Actually, realistically, while we're walking along, Nimbus is probably asking the turtle Bones about his parentage and just kind of shooting the shit about other reptilian races that he's met from his realm and so on. Just kind of trying to like make acquaintance. Nothing specific.
Cool. Well, then I'd be in the middle. I thought I would be in the back, but if that's going on, then I'm probably one space up.
So we got
Valkorian's
Bones,
probably in the back is where I'd put him.
Valk in the back, Warren's on point, of course, and then we've got Maris and Nimbus in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
What?
Who's
Gentlemen, we've got the sun to our backs, so be making sure I'll be post up, make sure nobody's tailing us on the way out.
Sun likes to sneak up on you.
give me a perception roll, Lee?
Moving.
Valkorian, sorry.
Wait, Valkorian can't make a perception roll. That's fine. You're fine.
Oh, yeah.
God damn it.
Ooh,
You're the lucky hand.
that's good.
Lucky finger. Click.
Click, click, click.
All right, Valkorian. You don't notice anything, and you can spot at the edge of town the small boy that was asking you questions, and he's standing there even at this distance, you're still able to see his lips moving, and he's clearly talking to somebody, but you're not really sure who he's bothering at this point. But he hasn't moved on yet. You see no one really watching you or trailing you as you leave town. You guys were able to leave.
Hey Warren, this may be a little bit odd, but that boy seemed to be following you. Aren't you supposed to be maintaining like 500 meters from the children folk?
I don't know how it is on the sea, but on the land, children are easily killed if they get out of line. So you don't have to worry about them. It's the big ones. There's this big lad that will fight anyone if he catches them out alone outside of town. You gotta watch out for him. I've run into him a few times. It's not pretty.
And what type of creature might this be?
I think he was a dwarf. I think he's my own kind. Is a dwarf. I think he's not with us though. He's just here.
And you said he's a big fella.
Yeah,
and he's a dwarf.
Well, he's big for a dwarf. Everything is big for a dwarf except I'm gonna start naming off like lots of small people, like halflings and gnomes and dwarger and spirits, whatever the bad gnomes are, Surfniblins, and just name off a bunch of small ones.
Maybe it's 3 dwarves in a trench coat.
We call him Dwarf Man, Adult Man.
And as Warren's naming all these off, I'm gonna look over at Nimbus, look over at Warren, look over at Nimbus, look over at Warren, and then just kind of slither my way out of the conversation.
All right, you guys continue to make your way. Can I get one more perception check from you, Lee, if you don't mind?
Moving.
Another 22. Another 20 plus.
Ah!
11.
Okay, yeah. The wind coming off the sea you're used to being on the sea, but you're not used to being on the shore. And so as the wind's coming off and it's catching some dust off the road, it's getting into your eyes, and you're not able to you have to keep wiping your eyes, not able to keep your eyes open like you normally would on the sea. You have such good ability to let the salt water kind of go over your face and stuff on the crow's nest and along the deck of the ships. As you guys continue on, it's about 4 miles, so it takes a little while, probably close to close to an hour with the pace that you're moving down the road here. You round a bend in the road, and you see on a hill off to your left, on the other side of the road, a decrepit house sitting on the highest ground in the area. Around it, a stone wall has crumbled in many places, exposing the interior grounds. An ornate metal gate lies open at the end of the road, swaying slightly in the wind. Wild flora grows throughout the inner yard, but all the years cannot hide the evidence of a well-tended garden that once sat here. Near the house, the rotted wooden roof of a water well rises out of the tall grass. Players, what are your actions?
I'm going to lean over to Mr. Bones and say, "Oh, Mr. Bones, I don't believe this building's up to code."
No shit.
What kind of code do y'all have on the ocean for the buildings?
Are you not familiar with the ocean standards? OSHAN?
We only have London, not ocean.
Sound more like guidelines, anyway.
If I hadn't already given you guys inspiration points, you clearly just earned them. Well done. That was good.
What is the time of day right now?
So we're closing in probably seven-ish at this point. You left town probably about 5:30, and then as you made your way about an hour, about 6:30. So getting nigh on 7. So the two moons can be seen coming over off of the horizon or in the sky. Sorry, as the sun is probably about, I don't know. You see about a third of the sun over on the edge of the horizon still.
Okay.
So I'm going to look over to Nimbus, and I'm going to point up at the moons and then draw my breeches up a bit and point down at my bare thigh and say, "Oh, moon's over my hammy." And then I'm going to charge into the grass and stealth out to get a better look at the garden building.
Cool. Give me a stealth roll, please, sir.
Here we go.
I'll look around and be like, are all elves like this?
Only the normal ones.
Got too many damn tabs open.
Oh.
I'm going to turn my inspiration in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Was that two? Was that 2 twos?
Dice
Yeah.
don't
Must
lie.
mean something.
All right. So Lee rolled ballerina. Got it.
Two
with,
twos.
With your bonus, what does that end up being?
That's it's written there.
It's a
I
10.
added it in. 10.
Oh, it did. Okay, that added. Cool.
Actually,
10.
I think it's about time.
Really good.
Not bad. While he's doing that, as he darts off. So you guys see Valkorian dart off into the tall grass, and with the darkness coming in and his dark attire, you kind of lose his shape, but you do see movement in the grass as he's slithering through. What is anyone else doing at this point?
Given his predilection for all things water, Nimbus is going to go investigate the well. Not separate from the group necessarily, but just kind of kicking around and looking at things. Wander over to the well and look down it.
Cool. So let me bring this up then. All right, so you guys approached up on the northwest edge of the house here, and the well is actually on the other side of the house. You could go around that. The house actually ends here, but I couldn't get it on the map. So this is open. At the north end of the house, it's open garden, untended garden between it and the wall. There's probably a good 25-30 feet between the edge of the house and the wall there on the north side. You notice the windows, all of the white rectangles you can see in the brown. Those are windows, and then there's a patio and a door to your south there on your right hand side. As as you come into this area. So I need to adjudicate a couple things. One, Lee, you were looking at making a closer look at the house. So if you could roll me a D20 perception check. And then Dan, seeing the layout here, do you still want to make your way over to the well?
Would I have to walk around the outside? Is that kind of from where we approached?
You could, I mean, you could walk over there. Again, the map, if we pan out just a little bit, the top of the map here where it's cut off, that's the edge of the house. There's again 25-30 feet between the edge of the house and the crumbling stone wall on the north end there, and it's untended garden, vegetable garden. Lee, for your roll, and Dan, while you think of that, let me adjudicate this roll. The house is 35 feet tall from the ground level to the roof peak. The roof is gabled, and you can see several holes in the roof where slate shingles are missing. And then there's a slightly worn path that came up through the break in the wall that you guys took into the house, or into the walled-in area. It's aged with time, and the path leads up to the patio on the south of you guys here. But you also see that wrap around to the front of the house. So there's obviously a door on both sides.
So I'm not one that really believes in the paranormal. So I'm walking into this thinking it's a hoax. So with that 21, do I see any, recent signs that somebody's been passing through the area at all?
Yeah, with that perception check, because you were looking at the house, but it was high enough that I'll have it roll over a little bit. You see in this area over here by the door, and there's some rose bushes in there, and there's a few broken gardening tools, and there's a tangle of weeds weaving its way through the rose bushes. And the rose bushes themselves, I mean, they're roses in only but a name, right? They're pretty dead and dilapidated at this point. But the single rose bush near the gate, there's a large burrow hole underneath the bush that you can see from your location that appears to go down underneath the rose bush. It's right about here.
Right.
So
I'm gonna.
What's 1 second, Lee? Back to
sorry.
Dan for a second. Dan, did you want to go over and look at the well, or do you want to stay and because Valkorian's kind of looking over at that bush and stuff? What do you want to do?
So do you have our party where our party is? Because the only reason I mentioned the well is because you called out the description of it as we approached. So if we're all going toward it, and then I would head that way. But if we all ended up on the other side, I'm not going to break up.
Okay, yeah, you are kind of where you came in, where the path came in from the stone wall on the road. So this is where it brought you in. Okay, cool. So Lee, you want to
return back and disseminate the information to the party.
Cool, and he shares that with you guys.
Hey, gents, closer up there, you see that patio, just to the left of it. There's some what used to be a rose garden area. There's some kind of burrow. What would that be, 3 feet, 4 feet across? Smaller than that?
Yeah, it's about with the dirt that's kind of fallen in and stuff, but it's pretty fresh. So yeah, about 3-4 foot in diameter. That sounds about right.
Nimbus goes, I don't see anyone up there at all. Who is this patio that you speak of?
He's my mother, lad, but that hole might be something.
He doesn't know what a patio is. Yeah, he lived underwater. Come on.
So I'm gonna walk towards that hole and take a look at it. Given that I'm the only person spends most of their time on land in our group, I'm gonna look at it and see if I can identify if it's a snake hole, an animal made it, or if it seems unnatural, or what kind of animal might have made it.
Yeah, so when we're in this kind of tactical setting, if you will, if you could, click and drag your character as you're making that. All right, and stop right there.
Yeah, that's where it is, right?
Well, it's in this general area, but as you approach that spot in the area, all of a sudden, bursting from the ground and the bushes around you, you hear a familiar sound as 4 giant weasels make their way into the open, and we are now in combat.
Kill them.
I need initiative rolls from everyone, please.
Is that a 20?
Yeah.
Plus your initiative bonus, yeah.
Oh, it's my okay +1. Wait, I found this advanced dice roller. I'm gonna do that.
So close.
Oh, pretty good.
All right, everybody's rolled. 20 to 25.
You don't see him?
I mean, I don't have chat open, no, to
Gotcha,
look at
okay.
them. So 20 to 25, nobody. 15 to 20.
18.
18.
I can't find my modifier. Where is it under abilities class?
If you
race?
actually click on your character portrait, it's the number in blue on your character portrait. So
Okay,
red
let me-
is your hit points, green is your armor, blue is your
Okay.
Initiative bonus.
yes, thank you. Man, I'm having the hardest time with Sirenscape tonight. It keeps dying on me.
If you like double click your face, Devin, that's where he's talking about. You find
In roll 20.
Uh,
in roll 20. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry.
It's
Hey,
also on your character sheet in D&D Beyond. It's next to your armor class.
Armor class. Okay.
hey, Warren, you also rolled an 18. Who's gonna go? Every turn, I'm gonna need you guys to decide who goes first. If you guys can just tell me now who's gonna go first, I can stack it that way.
I'll let the dwarf.
Okay, so Warren will go first. And then 10 to 15.
I had a 14.
I had a 14 too.
Who's gonna go
But-
first between you guys?
Double ties. Probably Devin.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Maris, I'm assuming you had
9.
9. Okay, Maris. All right. All right. First up in combat then is going to be we're gonna go with
4 weasels.
well, no, they don't. They don't get a surprise round because Warren went to investigate, and you guys are aware of the burrow. So I'm not going to give them a surprise round. But we are in combat. So Warren, first action is for you, my friend.
I'm going to take... I fucked it up last time, so let's try it again. Throw a hand axe at the top one, at the closest one, like that's 2 spaces away from me.
Don't
The
forget to
one.
pick it up later.
Yeah, we are in combat at this point. So yeah, okay, cool. So you're gonna throw it at this one right here. All right, give me a D20 roll, please, sir.
Tame that weasel.
Oh,
Fuck!
Damn.
Aim it
What's
with my
your-
axe. but
what's your
not this
bonus?
axe. For what? Oh,
To
for-
attack. So under actions all, it's probably the first thing.
Under attack is my hit DC for the hand axe is
Yep.
4.
Yeah, so that you got a 9, right?
a 9. Yeah, so you crank back, and you were a little bit put off by these weasels, and you just had an experience with weasels recently. So you crank back and you throw your hand axe, and it embeds in the wall behind the weasel, solidly embed. So
Killed the fuck out of that wall.
Valkorian, you are stealth, sir. So just of note when you move into combat.
So, would that give me advantage on that weasel to the top?
Yes,
Okay. So I
that's,
want to come up and sneak attack the top weasel with my bow.
okay. Are you gonna do it from that location there, or are you gonna
Yeah,
move around?
from where I'm currently at.
Okay. Roll me a d20 at advantage.
That's the first one.
Oh.
And then the second,
Okay.
15.
15 hits. Roll me damage, please.
My short bow is 1d6 plus 4.
No crit fail cards, huh?
Nine points of damage.
Hell yeah.
Oh, and I get another d6 for sneak attack. So 11 points piercing damage.
Yeah,
Hell
so
yeah.
you pull your bow up quickly and kind of sideways shoot it underneath, right? The arrow before it's even had a chance to start wobbling, it embeds in the front of the weasel's face, and then you see the back of it come out of his head, and he falls over dead. We've got one dead weasel at this point.
Great job taming that weasel, lad.
Was it taming? What was it? No, you said you were
Taming.
going to domesticate
Domesticating that weasel.
it with your axe.
That's a domesticated weasel if I've seen one.
All right, Valkorian, any other bonus action or movement?
Yeah, I don't get the bonus action disengage or bonus action hide until level 3,
Yeah.
so I'm fine there.
Okay, Great. Next on the list at Devakorian, Bones. What action would you like to take, sir?
I think I'm just gonna be walking. I'm like 30 feet, right? Is that what it says?
I
15,
believe
20. You're 20 feet away.
you should be able to make it in there, yeah, from your distance, from where you're at.
Is each one 5?
Yes.
That'd be 5, 10, 15.
Yeah, and you can go diagonally and just go right through your
Oh,
friend.
really? Okay, so 1, 5, 10.
So I'm on his friends list now. What if we're more than that?
So I could
Sorry.
step over
At
there.
a minimum.
It's
I can-
it's complicated, guys.
You can walk right through your hetero life mates.
And I can
space.
step on the dead weasel's body.
Yes.
No,
you,
lad, I need that to skin it.
you can definitely step on the dead weasel's body.
Okay, great.
Gnomes and dwarves love to.
It made it back.
Uh,
All right. So what are you gonna do when you get there?
So I'm looking at my attacks now. I thought I was two-handed, but I guess I haven't looked at the shit. But it says cutlass.
Yeah,
so,
we went with what you wanted to do with the 2 cutlasses. We went with that route.
Okay, so I'm swinging a D6 for my left hand, and then something.
You have to roll a D20 for your first attack.
Okay.
Ooh, oh, I look good. So that's a 4 plus your hit DC there, which I believe is
It's God damn it. Let me
Plus
see.
to hit.
I see 6.
Yeah, that seems right.
I trust you guys. I'm looking for it now, but
So on your character sheet, we want to get through this, so it's fun. We need to talk through this. So you see the place where it says actions.
senses, saving throws, actions.
Yeah, it's to the right. It's underneath your armor class.
Yeah, armor class. Yeah. Okay,
Yep,
actions, yes.
Yep. So on that, there's another tab you can click called Attack Actions, right there,
Okay.
and that'll show you all the different various weapon attacks that you can
Got it.
make.
So unarmed strike, claws, hand axe. So this is 1d6 plus 4.
But under hit/DC, what does that say?
It says plus 6.
Right. So you'll
Yeah,
roll a
yeah.
D20 and then you'll add 6, and then when we get to damage, that's when you roll your D6.
Okay. So so this is just to see if I make contact.
Yep.
Got
Exactly.
it. Okay, got it. So this is a 4 plus 6, so 10.
Yeah, so 10 points of damage. You come in with your cutlass, and the weasel rears up at you, and you slice one time, and the blood.
So that's a 10 to hit. He hasn't rolled his
It's a
damage
10 to
yet.
hit.
Oh, I thought we
10
just did.
It's a 10 attack roll.
Oh, I thought we already made the D6. My bad. Yeah, so it's a miss on the hit on the cutlass. He rears up, and you go swipe across, and he kind of sucks his belly in, and you barely missed the tip of him, and you see some
Dexterous
some
weasel.
fur
doesn't sound as good.
kick off to the left. You still
I got
have a bonus action attack for 2 weapon attack if you'd like.
Okay. So yeah, I'll swing with my left hand.
Okay.
And then that one you'd probably add nothing? Or,
Yeah, you don't add your proficiency modifier to this one.
Yeah, so you probably just whatever the dice is.
10. Oh, so
Another
same
10.
shit. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So this one still gets a strength modifier. He just doesn't get the +2 for
Oh,
proficiency.
that's what it is.
So he'll get
So
the
it's a 14.
It's a 14. So this one, as he sucks his belly in to miss the first swipe, you come in the other side and solidly connect. Roll your damage, please, sir.
Okay, so this is the D6
Plus
1
4.
times 4. Got
Plus
it.
4. Yeah.
Got it. Cool. So
Nice.
All right.
So 7 points of damage. Yeah, and as the cutlass comes in from the left, you make a solid hit, and a large chunk of weasel is left lying on the ground. As you look up, blood sprays across the windows and the side of the building there. Any other actions for you, Bones?
That's it for me.
Cool. Nimbus, you are next up in combat.
All right. So that one didn't die. He just had a chunk taken out of it. Is that correct?
Yeah, you should see updating at the bottom of each portrait. There's a health bar, so the numbers aren't there, but you should be percentage-wise try to assess how damaged they are with that.
Interesting.
So that was a collective
Yeah,
weasel.
I believe you. They all look the same to me, though. All 3.
Well, I took
Oh, yeah,
a
they all
slice
three
out
have
of
the
one of
same
them,
health
and
bar.
it killed the other 3. They're
Aw,
connected like ants.
That's
Yeah.
stupid.
They have a hive mind.
Okay, so I'll fix that later. That shouldn't have done that.
No worries.
That's me learning roll 20. So
Yep. All good. But yeah, that one next to him is at like 33%.
yeah, it's her real bad.
Okay. Well, and how much did you hit him for? 7?
Yeah, 7.
Okay.
Oh, motherfucker.
All right. So I'm gonna Nimbus.
Who did we piss off?
The DM, obviously.
It's like magic weasels.
All right, there we go.
Nimbus sees his new friend take a chunk out of this weasel, but it's still, rearing back and hissing at him and whatnot. So Nimbus, you'll see like suck in real big and his cheeks puff out, and then he goes whoosh, and sprays water, and he'll do a sacred splash and blast that injured weasel with water from his reserve glands that he had been filling with all of those gallons.
Nice. Just so you
he
guys
has to make a DC. Oh yeah, this is what Nimbus does. He's gonna make a DC 13 dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 radiant water damage. It's just a skin of Sacred Flame.
Yeah, so for flavor, we took Sacred Flame and changed it into water. It still does radiant damage, but it's just, as Dan described, is how the spell actually fires off.
It's no different because it's radiant damage anyway. It was never fire, so it's identical in every way. It just, he puffs his cheeks up and then blows water.
So cool.
It's fucking great. And nobody knew that's why he was drinking gallon after gallon after gallon of water later. So he's
Gotta
that's
put
awesome.
his take. So it's 13, Dan. Is that what you said?
It's a DC 13.
Okay.
Aaron can't
Yeah.
get
So
over
he
it.
rolls an 8 and is unable to dodge out of the water that, for whatever reason, doesn't appear to get him wet, but it burns. So
Yeah.
roll damage.
Yeah, beautiful. All
In
right,
the
cool.
animated version of this, is this like a pure, beautiful blue stream? Is it like kind of a greenish chum color with like fish bones in it?
Is it Squirtle type?
It's more Squirtle than anything. It mostly resembles like glowing steam. He goes, "Psh," and it's kind of like a fire hose, immediately turns to vapor. That's what's going on.
So I see 5 damage.
5 radiant.
And again, it's the same one that was hit before, right?
Yes.
All
The
right.
injured one that's next to.
Yeah. So you
bones.
see the water as it comes from out of Nimbus's mouth and forms that the cloud that he talked about, in this stream of water hits the weasel. He begins to writhe in pain, and then he keels over dead as the water begins to evaporate into a small puff of steam, and the
Perfect.
weasel lies not wet but drenched.
Blasted apart.
As an incidental, Valkorian says, "Oh, a weasel walks into the bar. The bartender says, 'Wow, I've never served a weasel before. What can I get you?' Pop goes the weasel."
Well done. Well
That's
done.
great.
All right, next up is the weasels. So the weasels.
I can't seem to move myself, but I wanted to move up a little bit to my friends.
Click on your toolbar
select
on the
move.
left.
Yeah,
select
you're
move.
right. I messed up. Yep, there we go. Okay, I'm just getting to there a little bit.
Okay.
That's it.
Cool. All right. With that, the weasels go, and they, seeing the water cloud come from you, assess that you're probably a threat, and they both charge up. So the first one charges up and attacks at you with his teeth. Makes a bite attack, and that is +5. That's a 15 to hit.
And it just bites into his bone armor and hopefully rattles his poor little weasel teeth.
Yeah, he kind of pulls back and shakes his head as his teeth are unable to penetrate your armor. The second weasel buddy moves up and does the same thing, makes a bite
my
attack
shield.
at you. An 11. This time, this one goes up, and as he goes to make a bite, you put your shield out, and you hear a sound, a solid funk as it hits the shield trying to come in for a bite. End of the weasel's turn. Next up is Maris.
All right, so I'm gonna move up, and I'll yell out. There we go. Okay. Are these the banshees you were talking about? Next to me twice. I can attack them diagonally like this.
Of course,
Right?
yeah.
So punch.
Punching him.
What punch?
Double punch.
Jesus
Damn.
Christ.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so those both hit. So roll your damage.
Damage 1. Oof, 5.
Correct.
2. 6.
6.
So 11 total.
Yes, solid.
All right, so yeah, the weasel, the first one that tried to go up and bit his armor, he's still kind of holding his mouth open as it's sore, and your first punch comes in and goes into the weasel's mouth, and when you pull it back, the weasel's actually attached to your hand, and so with your second hand you come in with a crushing blow, and your outside fist actually touches your inside fist, and the weasel's head just explodes open and falls over. Well, you have to kind of shake it off your hand actually because it's still kind of stuck, but he falls to the ground dead. Any other actions from you?
Nope.
That was pretty good.
I'm right there.
All right. Top of the order then, Warren. What action would you like to take, sir?
All right, I'm gonna swing my battle axe at the one that is right in front of me.
All right. So interact with environment for free to pull your battle axe out, and then swing. It's a D20, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Damn weasels.
So I see a natural 15, and then on your character sheet, in that same spot we talked to Devin about an attack, you should have a hit DC modifier.
My hit DC is +4.
So it's a 19 total.
Oh yeah.
Please roll damage, sir. Were you swinging that one-handed or two-handed?
It was one-handed,
Okay.
because of my shield out.
So it's a D8 instead of a D6. Yeah.
Oop. Did that on purpose. See if you're paying attention.
So 4 plus, if you look at your damage there, you should have a modifier.
+4, 8.
Yep. Cool. Yeah, you take your axe up, and this weasel, he was the one that got kind of clunked on the shield. He's kind of shaking his head a little bit, and you take your battle axe and poof, giant solid hit, and like the entire right side of the weasel just is open skin at this point, blood's seeping out. But he's still standing up. You definitely see him starting to kind of backpedal a little bit, like he's gonna move away if he gets an opportunity. Any other actions for you, Warren? Bonus or movement?
Feeling a pang of regret from last time, am I able to pull out some food and offer it to the weasel?
Unfortunately, that would require getting into your pack, which would be sort of an action. So you'd have to free action, drop your axe, get your pack out, and get stuff. But combat run is only 6 seconds, right? So think of what you can do in 6 seconds.
Nope, I don't want to do anything else.
Okay, cool. That's the end of Warren's turn. Valkorian.
So Valkorian wants to do a forward shoulder roll for no reason at all to move 5 feet here. And then as he pops up, he says, "So I was taking a walk through some tall grass and I saw what looked like a giant weasel. It was humongous." And then I'm going to shoot it with my bow.
Oh, that's awesome.
He's heating up, folks.
This will be regular because you did not get a chance to re-stealth.
That's fine.
That's great.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
24.
That's solidly hits. The roll damage.
I do get sneak attack since he's within 5 feet of
He's engaged.
a ally.
Please.
6 plus 4. 6 points of damage.
Please describe for us how this weasel expires.
So, with the flap of skin that's kind of hanging off its side, as it's rearing back to attack Warren, I pop up and shoot, and the skin gets sandwiched up against like a post or whatever's that kind of border along the patio, and the centrifugal force launching the weasel back, it completely skins it. And he looks over at Warren and says, "All right, boy, there's a skin for you."
That's great.
Nice. And with that, gentlemen, we are no longer in combat. You have destroyed the weasels. So we will talk XP at the end of the night.
Yeah.
I'd like to retrieve my 2 arrows to see if they're still within working order.
Yep. Roll a d20 for both. 10 or higher, you retrieve the arrow. 10 or less, 10 or less, 11 or higher.
Nice.
Both retrieve
Got them
both.
both back.
Yep.
Okay.
Same for my axe.
Yep. Your axe is fine. It's only arrows that have to have a roll because they're more fragile. But the
it'd be a bummer if your axe broke.
Yeah, and if you were to roll like a natty 1, that is absolutely an outcome that we could pursue, but not likely. Okay.
That'd be bad axe.
Don't have an accident.
Oh God.
Can I ask you guys to please stop with those
Stop
puns?
it. That was the worst one yet.
All right. And with that, we are out of combat, and you guys have actions to pursue. What would you like to do?
I'm gonna start skinning the other weasels.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna shift right click the weasel, see if it dropped any green items. No.
All right.
I need its teeth.
So, with your survival skill being what it is, you're not really sure how long it's going to take you to skin the weasels. So, just putting that out there, it's not a
Just tie 'em
task.
to your pack.
I'll just take the corpse and put him in my whole bag. I'm not tying him in my pack. That'll make it gross.
You're checking the full.
Put him in the pack.
Okay.
What? What?
Just so you know, these are the sizes like almost.
You're putting like children in your
Yeah,
pack.
they're just
Skin,
I'll just leave
skin
it.
children. Yeah.
they're Great Dane size weasels, so they're
Dane size.
quite large weasels. and-
Dwarf-sized weasels.
yeah.
I'll take the one. I'll take the one that was skinned and toss the skin at Valkorian.
Okay, yeah, put let's see, undamaged portion of weasel skin into your inventory.
Me or Valkorian?
You, if you're going to.
I threw it at him.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine.
Yep. So somebody tag in your. That might be something of use that you can sell later.
So stealthily, I'd like to go to the patio and stand next to the door and just see if I can hear anything from the inside.
Yep. Make a stealth roll for me, and then move up to the patio.
So I'm thinking like right here
Okay.
to be able to hear. Stealth roll.
Ooh.
27.
You become the patio.
Yeah. As you guys look, Valkorian blends into the wall. It is pretty much unseen at this point. Yeah, you're able to sneak up. You feel that you're very well hidden. Probably the most hidden you've been in quite some time, actually. As you put your ear up to the door, give me a perception check, please.
21.
Yeah, outside of the wind blowing off of the coast, because this house, kind of sits up on a promontory above, you're not really hearing anything inside the house. The wind, is picking up. It's that time of year at night with the two moons. Tides get pretty high around the coastal waters. So not really hearing anything in the house.
Can I feel like I'd be pretty impatient at this point. Can I walk up to the door and just kick it open?
You absolutely can do anything you want in Dungeons and Dragons, and we use the dice to tell us if it's successful or not.
Okay.
So, roll.
T-shirt?
Yeah, that's a pretty good
Very
t-shirt.
long T-shirt. It's on the back.
Double XL, yeah.
It's a turtleneck and it starts right here.
Yeah.
It's like
It's a robe,
snuggie.
actually.
Yeah. We only sell it
Snuggie.
snuggie form. Make an attack roll on the door at advantage because it's not moving.
Attack rolls D20.
The D20. Yep.
14. What
Okay.
does that advantage mean?
Roll it twice. So advantage means you make the same roll twice. We take the higher. Disadvantage means you make the same roll twice. We take the lower.
You don't need to finish the sentence. I figured it out.
Yeah.
That door.
Yeah.
So our critical rolls. Lee's getting the critical roll, the crit hit cards from Nord Games. We'll
Wait,
adjudicate
on
that.
a door?
Oh yeah, it's critical success against a door.
But-
we
But an attack on a door?
we're gonna pull the card. It's the house rule. We pull the card.
All
The
right.
card has been pulled. So you were bludgeoning against it.
Yes.
So you did a setback level, a stunning blow, maximum damage. The target must make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw. On a failed save, the target is stunned.
So we're
Stun
gonna.
the shit out of that dude.
Yeah. The narrative that we're gonna use is that Warren goes up and with one solid kick, boom, and the door just comes off its hinges, and much like the attack that Dan wanted to do in the Sunless Citadel to use the door as a shield to burst into the room, The door goes flying in full form, not broken. It just goes into the room, and it goes as far as you guys can see, all the way across the floor. And let me just reveal this.
And it makes a Wile E. Coyote-like door-shaped doorway in the following wall. Just remodels the house.
Yeah, exactly. And you see this room open up before you. The door that you just came into from the patio, the paving is cracked and overrun with weeds. Other than a pile of refuse in the southeast corner, the room appears bare.
I suppress the urge to cast Thunderwave in the room.
Oh no! Yes, please suppress that. What is the
Successful.
I'm moving up with these guys behind, like next to them.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Me too.
Yeah,
Follow.
Barb should show up.
Dwarves, they do not knock.
I'm gonna. Knocking is for cowards. I'm gonna look at the turtle and say, "Hey, Hardshell, you wanna go in first or me?" Devin, that's you.
Oh, you said a hard shell? Oh, sorry, I wasn't only half
But I decided that's your name. You're dealing with it.
after you.
All right, I'm gonna walk inside, but like just a little bit, like maybe to the first square.
Okay.
Stowing my bow, drawing my rapier.
Okay. Anyone else doing anything else as he enters the room?
Nope.
Okay.
Still holding shield and hammer.
As you enter the house, it smells of old wood, salt, not really decay, just like wet, damp wood. Clearly this. You can't make those noises. It's gonna get me every damn time.
I'll mute out whenever I'm around. I apologize.
No, you're fine. Because as soon as you did that, my mind went through the whole litany of things that could have been unpacked in that sentence. Yeah, it's wet wood and salt and brine, like a dock. But this isn't a dock; it's just on a high promontory. So it's constant. This house is constantly being beat by the wind and the sails. There's slight gaps in the roof and in the walls as it's been damaged over time. You can see water stains in the corners around the windows, which you really couldn't see through because they're smudged with dirt and age. You see rotted wood and detritus around the base of them. There's a fireplace on the western wall. Outside of that, you don't really see anything in this room.
On the one hand, I want to check to see if there's anything in the room. On the other hand, you said there's just one door in the room, right?
There is a door on the eastern wall, about halfway down the wall.
I'm gonna go to the fireplace and like inspect to see if it could be like turned into anything that makes a decent fire.
Right. So as you move here. Welcome, fools. Welcome to your deaths. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
The weasels, they speak.
So, where's that? Wisdom saving throw is a 20 plus whatever my wisdom saving throw is.
Yeah, so it'd be the left-hand
It's in
box.
the top left.
I got it.
Yep.
Yeah. Different from your modifier.
6,
Saving
fuck.
throws.
All right. So I need you to mark this on your character sheet somewhere, or on a piece of paper. But you have
I got you, boo boo.
you have disadvantage on all ability checks for 1 hour, unless you're immune to the frightened condition, which you are not. And you can repeat the saving throw every 15 minutes. So
Okay.
I've made a note to myself to check you about every 15 minutes. But as this loud, booming, fiendish voice and laughter emanates from the floor, you're not used to this, and you're scared, and you're not able to move forward. You're kind of stopped in place for a few moments, and everyone outside hears this as well. You don't have to make any saving throws, but you definitely heard the voice.
So it appears that it is definitely not rumors, and that was definitely not weasels.
Leave it to a fishman to state the obvious.
I'm sure it's just some hobo that's been living here for the past fucking 5 days.
Well, then you leave, you turtle fuck.
We'll
Well,
see.
let us,
We're gonna-
Let us go about evicting the supposed hobos.
All right. Walk. What are your actions, guys? What are we doing here?
I'm coming in
moving,
with
I'm
them to
scared.
look at the.
I'm coming in.
Nimbus, as you Bones, please stop. Please stop everywhere. Hey, thanks for the bits. Nimbus, as you move abreast of Warren, you hear, "Welcome, fools. Welcome to your death." I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
and Nimbus goes, "What is this? A fucking spirit Halloween store? Is this the same fucking laser that plays the same sound clip over and over?"
We are not affiliated with Spirit Halloween stores in any way, shape, or form. But we are looking for sponsors. Yeah.
All right.
They
Here's
have
wisdom
Spirit Halloween
saving throw.
underwater.
17.
17. Yeah. So you make the save, and yes, your response to that, you feel that this is ridiculous. There's nothing about this that really frightens you. It sounds. Make an Arcana check for me, please.
Ooh, okay. That's gonna be a +2. One moment.
There we go.
8.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not really sure what it is, but it doesn't frighten you. That's for sure. You've seen you. I mean, you almost died to a fucking kraken. You could.
I was just gonna say, Nimbus is like, whatever you are as smaller than this house, and my common enemy is 10 times larger.
Bones, you were following him in, and as you got to the doorway here, let me do this for a second. Sorry. As you got to the doorway, you heard the booming laughter and stuff, and saw Nimbus kind of freeze for a second, and then you heard the things he was saying. But continue as you see fit.
Somebody left the hobo on repeat.
That's a fucking t-shirt.
That was good. That was really good.
So, Bones, as you draw abreast of Nimbus, welcome, fools. Welcome to your death. Make a wisdom saving throw, please.
And then it's my wisdom.
Yeah.
So that's +0, it looks like to me. So I'm just at 6. Fuck.
Yep. So, yeah, you have failed the saving throw, and all your talk of not being scared of anything in the back of your mind, you've never really seen magic. You're not really. It's not something that you necessarily believe in. But you have this part of you that always thought that, well, if I didn't believe in it, maybe it would manifest and try to scare me. And that appears to be what's happened here. You were frightened for the next hour, and you have to make disadvantage on ability checks.
The hobo has a shotgun.
So, seeing how scared people are diving or walking through the doorway, I'm gonna dive through the window.
Of course you are. Give me a athletics check or acrobatics, whichever you prefer. Now, in diving through the window, are you looking to, like a diver, the least amount of impact, or are you looking to be as dramatic as possible? What are we looking at?
Dramatic,
here?
man.
Okay, yeah. Kool-Aid Man through the window is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Man. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a rogue. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Solid 9.
Okay, so you as you go and run up, you are able to break through the glass, but unfortunately, in doing so, you're not as clean in diving through as you want to, and so you
Just
take
upper body.
you take 4 points. You take 4 points of slashing damage as glass gets cut on your arms as you dive through the glass.
Shit.
Nice.
But when you land on the floor with some blood coming out of your forearm, you don't hear the sound.
Seeing the others get scared and our elving friend, cut but not, afraid, I will slowly step through the window after it is now clear.
So you look over your shoulder, Valkorian, and as you got, kind of wrapping a bandage around the blood in your arm to stop the bleeding, Maris is daintily and delicately stepping through the broken glass in the window and kind of ducking underneath it and coming through.
All right.
Still shaking off the weasel guts.
So you guys stand in the room. What are your actions?
Would I have noticed that, like, once they reach 2 blocks inside, that's when it seems to get triggered?
Make for me a perception check, sir.
It's a 20 plus 1. 12.
Yeah, it was DC 12, so right on the dot. Yeah, so you have in hearing it now, you've heard it 3 times, and you are scared, but you were able to assess that the sound appears to be emanating from this portion of the floor here.
I'm gonna turn around and look at the other two and be like, "Careful, lads. The sound is like it happens once you get so far into the room. I've seen it 3 times with the 2 to my left, to my right."
I'm gonna get down on all 4s here. I'm right next to you, right? Yeah, I'm gonna like
Where
investigate.
is Warren? Oh, you were on top of him, you filthy cur.
No, it wasn't.
Yep. So you're making an investigation check, Dan.
Correct. I'm investigating like the floor tiles there, basically.
Yep. Roll me a d20, sir.
Yep. 13.
Yeah. So you don't really see anything about that area on the floor, but what you do notice, even though the footsteps of your friends are fresh, you notice some not as fresh tracks coming in from the door to that area of the floor. And as you kind of look back at the door and you follow the footsteps along the floor, sort of the camera sort of chasing it, right? And as the camera pans up, you see this little lip on the floor, and that there appears to be that area of the floor appears to be slightly raised.
So Nimbus is gonna do this thing where he like feels along the edges of it and looks like he's about to lift it up, and then just hammers through it, just crush the trapdoor.
Roll me an attack at advantage.
All right. I'm at +4, right? Yeah.
Crit that door.
About to domesticate the shit out of this door. 17.
All right, roll me your damage dice, please, sir.
All right. Oops. 6.
Yep. You put a nice solid hit on it, and you can see it kind of cave in, but it doesn't knock it loose. But you definitely have caved it in, and you can see that there is absolutely an open area underneath the floor there.
So I'll be like, it appears here there is a trapdoor heading down below. That may be the source of the sound or something. I don't know. And then bong, and try and knock it in again.
Roll another d20, sir.
Okay.
At advantage,
it's a little
please.
slow, I'm sorry.
Yep. No, you're fine.
Yeah, that's gonna hit again.
Cool. Roll a damage dice.
And 2. And then another 4 damage.
And with that, the second hit, the what is clearly a trap door crashes open, and you can see a ladder, not a ladder, sorry, a set of stairs descending. It's a very steep set of stairs descending into darkness below.
Cool.
Bash the stairs.
Yep.
And then
I attack the darkness.
as an incidental, gentlemen, it appears here that we don't care so much about stealth, and we really fucking hate doors. Is that part for the course going forward?
And you hear a plot pigeon from the outside. You don't really care much about windows either, do ya?
Yeah, apparently, Pigeon, there was somebody over here that they've been bleeding on the floor. Maybe we can use that to trap him.
You're a
He breaks the
hypocrisy
doors, he
chicken.
breaks the fourth wall.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Welcome to the land.
there's a staircase that
He goes, is this par for the course? We're just gonna attack all the doors. And Nimbus like wipes some of his arm blood that's like from the glass wounds, just like we.
Oh, that's great.
I have C hepatitis.
No, but not hepatitis C. That's very interesting.
Indeed.
Hepatitis of the sea. Understood, yes.
All right. So what are your actions here, folks?
Shall we go up or? Oh wait, why am I French? Would you lads like to keep exploring this hole, or would you like to explore the door?
Maybe we could just burn this whole fucker down. I'm just so scared right now of hobos.
Come here, Bones. I'll
We're gonna
hold you
break the
tight.
doors and the windows. Let's burn this fucker down.
Warren and Bones, give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Oh fuck.
It's
So we
been
get
15 minutes.
Yeah,
this is your chance
roundabout.
to shake it off.
God damn it.
You have
Alright.
an advantage. You have a an inspiration point you could use.
Oh wait, what?
Oh,
I didn't mean to do that. Wait,
Oh,
what
yeah,
did I
that's
do?
fine. You're fine.
you're okay.
You rolled 11?
No, he rolled a 7. It looks like.
Okay.
Yep. So you're still frightened, Warren. We're about 15 minutes in at this point. And you, Bones, are you going to use your inspiration to reroll that?
Yeah, use it. Yeah, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, and
There you
as Nimbus has your friend's blood in between his fingers and says "we," you kind of start chuckling to yourself about that because it's kind of funny. And and you're not really frightened anymore. So
Glad I could help.
I'm not, the hole is right in front of Maris, right?
well, Nimbus is technically speaking, Nimbus is standing on top of the hole, so let's just move him off to the side. But yeah. You see beneath you in that space there let me just draw something here for you guys. In this square right here, you see a staircase descending into the darkness.
I think we should explore and find out who is really haunting this house.
Can I get out a torch and like hold it down towards the darkness and see what I can... Oh wait, I have dark vision. I don't need to do that.
Yeah,
You can just peer in there. Yeah.
you see a staircase that descends down. It's a very steep staircase, but it definitely descends into the darkness.
All right, can I get out a torch and then light it and then toss it down the darkness?
You absolutely can do anything you want in Dungeons and
That's what I'm
Dragons,
doing.
and we use the dice to say what happens. So yeah, yeah. So
Stop it.
you take your torch out, you light it, and you throw it down there, and you give it a pretty good toss, and you hear, and then nothing, but you definitely see the flickering of your light at the base of these what appear to be. Make a perception check.
And now it would appear the wooden ladder's on fire.
5,
Like I said, burn this
Burn
fucker
it down.
1,
Took your
5 and
advice.
1, 6. So I don't see probably shit.
Yeah, you know what you do assess though is everything's wet. I mean, it's just moist everywhere, so you're not really worried about setting anything on fire.
Well, lads, I can't see any reason why I wouldn't go down there. So I'm gonna take a first step down and like look at everybody and be like, anyone opposed?
Bones is kind of pissed from getting so scared and then very quickly getting out of his scaredom. So he's upset about whatever the fuck is down there, and he definitely wants to go check it out. So
Does anybody think that we should investigate the rest of the house at the ground level before we delve into the subterranean, or should we move on ahead right away?
Well, I recommend we just go ahead and head down into the hole. Clearly, they didn't want us to find it, so this is where we need to go.
I imagine if they're gonna plant this and they're gonna be watching us from this point, we can only even know what's in there further. I think we should go down in there right now and catch whoever's down there and skin them alive.
How far could it possibly be? Cut to 3 weeks later.
Yeah, still going downstairs. Yeah, we all have beards.
Detail. We already have. beards.
All right, but if there were any hobos for us to remove from this crash pad, I fear that we are going to allow them to continue to filth up the place, and we are only now pursuing the main bad guys and actual evil spirits. I just want to point that out.
Can we split up into groups? Is that a possibility?
Party.
In Dungeons and Dragons,
You can split the party. As your friend and as someone who'd like to play more than one session with you, it's not recommended.
it's
Okay.
bad. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. Otherwise, yeah, like, hey, you and I, let's go investigate what's up here while they go down there, and then there's an encounter planned for the entire party.
Oh yeah, and there's
5.
actually like a whole thing you're gonna explore, and it's gonna take a little while. So
Yeah.
I just meant like going into like separate rooms or like not not going into different encounters. But obviously this is one. So
You guys can do whatever you want. What are your actions though?
Stealthily, I'll start descending the ladder.
I'll let him.
Is there anything else in this room? You said it was just dust and detritus, but is there like a broke chair, for example, I could wedge up against that door to the east?
There's not a broke chair, but there is the remains of the door that Warren
there's the door.
kicked in across the
You're
floor.
welcome,
You
lad.
could certainly.
I'm gonna use a piece of door to.
No, the whole door.
I'm gonna use the door to block the door. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Just wedge it at like a diagonal so it can't open inward. Assuming the door opens inward. If it doesn't, then that's stupid. But you know what I'm saying, right?
You could try it.
Yep.
First,
So
I mean.
give me a just give me a general intelligence check to make sure that you can do that. Okay.
Okay. 10.
Yeah. So you think you're able to get a nice
Sure.
barricade set up on the
Okay.
door.
Athletics or anything else? No.
No, that's probably good.
Okay. I just lean the door on the door and then we carry on.
Yep, you've leaned the
Cool.
door on the door.
Worth a shot.
Door on door action.
Two
Doors
doors
will
one
be
passageway.
shocked. Doors will be broken. Doors will be
So many doors. So many doors.
All right. So while he's done that, Lee, you have begun to make your way stealthily down. Did you do a stealth check yet? If not, can you give me one?
I have not yet.
'Kay.
I would be more than happy to for you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Aww.
12.
Okay. And I need to roll something over here. Okay. So Lee, let me do this. I will be completely transparent that I was not quite prepared for you guys to do this, but I am prepared now. So I need to reveal this.
See, that was your opportunity to be like, yes, you should investigate everything on the ground level before you carry
Nope,
on.
I swore coming into this that I was going to roll with the punches, and whatever you guys did and ignore the 4 hours of content that I create to skip right to the end, we were going to do it. So
We'll get it later.
No, we
Come
won't.
back.
It's like
But
if
no
we
higher
go
level.
down, I figure we got to come back up, right?
Yeah, but what you're gonna go down there and you're gonna get the big shiny sword and then you're still gonna go piddle around looking for like fucking coins?
I do it in Skyrim on a fucking daily
Yeah.
basis.
Say, you're not playing adventure games right if you're doing that, Dan.
No, disagree. The way you're supposed to do it is never pass anything. You search everything. on
If
the
there's
way
a
in.
guy like screaming from you from a hole in a room, they're
Which
like,
is why
"Hey!"
in Elder Scrolls Online, Dan and I never left the starting city because we were still searching through all
Did
the drawers and
everything.
cabinets. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Lee, as you make your way down the stairs here, you see
Ooh.
a torchlit chamber that was once a large cellar, but it has since been converted into living quarters. 10 crude beds stand along the south wall, each with a wooden locker at its foot. A long
Fuck.
wooden trestle table ringed by rickety stools dominates the center of the room. Metal cutlery, cups, and dirty plates sit atop the table. A cook stove is installed near the table, and evidence of recently cooked meals sits in pots atop it. In fact, there's actually a pot on it and smoke coming up around it as it is boiling. A large ham hangs from a loop of twine near the stove. A sturdy set of stairs leads in the ceiling above you where you are, and there are 2 wooden doors on the east side of the room. However, you see standing across the room, fingering their weapons in their hands, 3 men. I need everyone to roll initiative.
Wait, didn't he stealth down there?
Yeah, but he rolled a 12,
It
so
wasn't great.
they saw him coming. So
Damn.
they see him coming down the top of the stairs, and they're grinning evilly at him. I'm gonna need your initiative rolls in just a second.
I have a 12. I'm taking a leak.
Real quick, how do you
16.
guys add in your modifiers like onto your rolls?
The advanced die under advanced die roller. If you hold over the
Got it.
dice, yeah, you got
I
it.
just click /roll space 1, whatever the D is, plus whatever my thing is.
Yeah, that
That's
seems
fancy.
that seems good.
Not by how I'm rolling, though.
Gotcha.
All right. Is everybody done rolling?
Yep.
21 to 25.
I had a 20.
20. All right. Maris is first. 15 to 20. All right.
Where's my
10.
initiative modifier? Sorry, it's that I'm looking Dex.
So
Warren should be in 15 to 20.
did he step away? Okay, I'll put Warren after Maris then.
It's plus one. I think.
Yeah, you're plus 1, Devin.
So I'm 18.
Bones. Okay. Well, so you're above Warren, so we'll go Bones. What were you again, Maris? 20?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So Bones, and then Warren, and then. All right. 10 to 15.
Nimbus had a 12.
Nimbus, and then 5 to 10.
I have a 7.
Okay. All right. So I will give you, Valkorian, a chance to have an incidental, or do an incidental if you so desire. But you definitely see 3 individuals holding weapons to the east side of the room here.
So drawing my bow, I'm going to tell them, that's the trouble with dimwits like you. You never look at the ones coming in from behind, and draw an arrow.
Oh, okay.
So I kind of want to bluff to them, like deceive them that coming in from behind is going to be another force.
That's great.
All right, and you guys absolutely hear this above, and we are in combat. First up, Maris.
Do I hear him yell out?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you hear, and
Okay.
you can actually it's echoing up that chamber to you guys. So you actually can hear him quite well.
Okay. How wide is the stairwell? Is it just one person?
It's one person wide, but remember you can move through friends in D&D.
And hetero life partners.
Mm-hmm.
They might not enjoy it as much.
I
Or
would
more.
be at the back of the pack, so I would be standing at the top of the stairs, and I'm going to hold my turn and until some baddie comes up and punch him in the face.
Okay. I'm just aligning the rest of you guys here off to the side. Okay. So Maris, you're waiting to be clear. You're waiting till you see someone at the base of this from where you're at now, that spot. You can probably only see out about 10 feet. So to right about the edge of the table here is where you can see from that position. Just so you know.
Point of order. I think you can hold an action. You can't hold movement.
Correct.
Yeah. So you can hold an action. You can't hold movement. Only an action can be held. So if that's what I was saying is if you can only see to about here to see if someone's coming up, that's when you can actually react to someone in that space. You pick it up when I'm laying down.
Okay, so I'm going to jump down here then. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. My movement's 30, so I can make it here.
And you absolutely see everything at this point.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna still hold my turn here, hold my action here, and punch anyone that comes close. Punch
Okay.
any enemy that comes close.
Got it. Ready to action, punching an enemy that comes close. Understood. All right.
Okay,
Anything else
monkey's
for you?
paw here. Nope.
All right. Next up after Maris is Bones.
Okay. I'm gonna come down the stairs. Am I starting right where I put my character?
Yep. Start your movement from there. That's fine.
Cool. And then I wanted to ask real quick. There was like a meter thing that I saw somebody use, so I didn't have to count it. But if anybody knew how to quickly do that, where it's like shows you 10, 15, 20.
Fourth. So you see where your blue arrow is at the top left corner. That
Okay.
come down to. It's not snap to center. Where is that, Dan?
I mean,
For the
mine
measuring
is just
stick?
select move. I don't think that I had like a. For me,
No
it was
worries,
there
doesn't-
when I was dragging my guy around.
Yeah, I
That's the
saw it
only
for a
time
second. I was
saw
just wondering if you all knew real quick, but that's fine.
it.
So it's 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I guess I'm right here. And then I'm going to be holding up my swords in a defensive, like, cross,
Mm-hmm.
so I can Jedi the arrows out of the way if I need
Oh
to.
yeah, you can take the dodge action. So if you're not attacking and you're not sprinting, which just lets you move again, then you can take dodge, which makes attacks at you at disadvantage, or does it put your AC up?
The
remember.
dodge action gives you +2 to AC, I believe.
I think that's what it is, yeah.
Cool. Then I'll dodge, I guess.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
what you should do.
All right.
No, it's disadvantage.
I had disadvantage on attacks against him.
Yep.
Okay,
Any
great.
attack roll made against you has disadvantage.
Cool. Next up, then, if there's bones, you have nothing else.
Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, that's gonna be Warren. I couldn't read my own damn handwriting. That's a problem.
You're muted.
Nailed it. Do I start from here, Billy, or do I start from here?
Start from there. We're right behind Valkorian.
Okay.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and then I can throw an axe, right?
You absolutely can.
That's never failed me, so let's do it again.
The hand axe range is 20 feet. So
Oh yeah.
So you're gonna
Whoa.
be at long range. You'll be at disadvantage.
Yeah, fuck it. I'll pick it up afterwards.
All right.
Yeah,
so
I mean,
disadvantage.
You
So
can
that's
do
you
it
got
at
to
disadvantage.
you have to roll 2 dice.
Or you could use your inspiration to roll not
Regular.
at disadvantage, right?
Yep.
Oh wait, if I do that, I can't like be in a defensive posture for if they move in, right?
That's
Right.
correct.
All right. Well, I'm gonna like get into like pull my shield up in front of me, like have my battle axe out, like ready to fucking go, but not do anything.
Okay,
Like,
so
come at us.
it's called the dodge action. So you want to sit behind your shield. So that means anybody that attacks you is going to be at disadvantage. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Noted. Next up after Warren is the first 2 guys. So they both the 2 guys pulled. They have
Wait, Billy. Real quick. I said 30. I'm 1 behind. Can I be right there? Because that's where I'm supposed to be.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's where I'm supposed to
Yeah.
be.
It's like magic. It's not if it doesn't say if it happened, it happened, right?
Cool. I said 30. I just didn't make it 30.
No worries. Okay, so then on their turn, the 2 gentlemen. Well, I use the term loosely. One of them has a golden tooth on his front right tooth. The other one's missing most of his teeth. He's got tattoos all up his left side of his body that you can see, and they're both what you would recognize. Bones and Valkorian, they're wearing seafaring attire. It appears they're definitely folks of the sea, based upon the way that they're dressed. No landlubber would wear clothes like that. Anyways, they move forward 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, and he moves up on the turtle and he swings his weapon. He
At
swings
disadvantage.
scimitar. First roll is a 4, and then a 12 plus. So 4 plus 3 is 7. Does 7 hit you?
Seems unlikely.
Yeah. So he starts. He's jumping over the chairs and running up on you, and he swings his scimitar across, and you just turn and it catches the edge of your shell. Off, and you take no damage. The second one pulls out. He puts the scimitar in his belt, but whips up a light crossbow and takes a shot at Maris with his crossbow.
No.
Maris, he's gonna shoot you with a 9. Does 9 hit?
Does not.
Cool. You waiting to an attack, and as the arrow comes forth, you just kind of turn your face to the side and watch the arrow fly
Can you
past
catch arrows yet with key points?
Nope.
I think
not
that's
yet.
level 3. I think is when it can do that and
Oh,
throw
that
it back.
would've been awesome.
That would have been awesome. That's the end of the bandit turns. Nimbus, your turn.
I am not on the map anywhere, but I'm going to run as far toward
You're
the
right here.
hostilities
You're
as
right
I
here,
can.
buddy. Let me drag you down so you can see yourself.
Cool. So, can I go diagonal? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30? Does that seem reasonable?
No, because you got to come down the stairs. It's a chamber that the stairs come down, so it's
Okay.
kind of hewn in the rock
Sure.
where it is, and so you can't start going diagonal until you leave the staircase here.
Oh, this is how you have to get out. So I'm
Yeah.
going 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Right?
Or you
Yep.
could jump on the table.
I'm going to jump on the table.
Table dance.
Yeah.
Table dance.
Give me an athletics or acrobatics roll just because you're jumping on a table.
Again?
Yeah.
Again?
And I'll be like, Hearken, travelers, the Tritons have arrived. 22.
Nice.
Nice.
That's right. So he cartwheels up there.
Yeah. Well, as you come down the base of the stairs, you kind of leap across and you grab the edge of the table and then do that kick up thing when you're on the ground onto
Yep.
the table and you're standing there with your weapon in hand. Make your attack if you'd like.
But also I stamp down on a plate, so it sends a flagon of wine into the air, which I snatch and then chug and then throw on the ground. And then he's gonna spray the wine at these guys.
Okay. That's
So-
a dex save at the first one?
13 dex save at the closer one. Yeah.
Okay.
Splash the gummy semen.
It's a 15. Yeah. So he makes it. Yeah.
Filthy bitch.
He's kind of as you're doing all this stuff, maneuvering in on the table. He's just kind of standing there waiting for the attack, and then when he sees you spitting water, he's like, "You taking so long?" That he just kind of steps back and you miss the attack. Anything
Okay,
else?
That's fair. That's it.
Cool. Valkorian.
I'm going to take my arrow that I have knocked, and the one that's directly in front of Mr. Bones. I'm going to say, "Oi, a smooth sea never made for a skilled sailor," and I'm going to let it loose at his head.
All right, make me an attack roll, please. You will get sneak attack if you hit because he's engaged.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When's the wedding?
18?
Yeah, 18 hits. Roll damage, please.
Oh yeah.
9 points of piercing damage.
Oh, yeah. So you watch as the arrow embeds deep in his chest, and he's standing there, and he's starting to waver. He's still standing, but man, blood is gushing from his chest. That's a good wound that you've put on him. Anything else?
Bonus action, I'm going to draw another arrow.
Okay.
And move down to... actually, no, I'm going to stay there.
Okay, great. End of your turn. Then the other one in the back there, he pulls out a longbow. Well, he already had it, but he pulls back the string and looses at the turtle that's engaged with his friend in front of him. Actually, belay that, the gentleman standing on the table that spit water, he's going to shoot at because he sort of made
Going after the table dance.
yeah, he made himself known, and he's making 2 attacks at you. So that looks like a 16 and a 15.
Nope. 18.
Oh,
Raise
so
my shield.
yeah, so both arrows he shoots in rapid succession, and they kicking off of your shield. It misses both of his shots, and he is going to take a step back here around the corner. End of his turn. Top of the round, round 2. Maris, you're up, buddy.
Okay. I would like to cast Fog Cloud.
Ooh.
Okay, so I create a 20-foot radius sphere of fog centered on a point within range. It spreads around corners. The area is heavily obscured. So I want to do it right 5, 10, right here. 5,
So
10,
that
20.
that draws. What does it do exactly?
So it basically obscures, the 2 archers here. The area is heavily obscured. It lasts for the duration.
Okay. So let me just do this, and it'd be this square here.
Yes.
Okay. Let me reverse those.
So if you hold down Alt, I believe it does round shapes.
30 square. So here, is that right?
20 square. So it'd be what?
4 square. Oh. So like that.
Yep.
Okay. Cool. So the one he's not really in the fog. There's not really a good way to get both of them in that at 20. I don't believe. So
it's 20 radius, so it'd cover them both.
Yeah, that's 20 diameter.
Oh,
It would be 40 total.
got it. Okay. So you're just sort of this whole area then.
Yep. Fogging them out.
Okay, cool. Heavily obscured. Noted. Thank you. Sorry for that. It's
so
taking me some time to figure out Roll20. And in the future,
all good.
if nameplates get mixed up because of people joining or leaving, just call it out in chat so that I can, or say it out loud so I can see it. I fixed it. But,
Roger.
yep. All right. What else are you doing, Maris?
So I moved, but actually I can move a little bit closer. And then I just want to just dispel it at the end of the turn. I'm not sure if that's... I guess that would be an action, right?
Yeah, that'll persist on the duration of the spell, so it'll stay there.
Yep.
Cool.
Okay, that's fine.
All right. Is that
That's
it?
my turn.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Bones, you're up. Warren, you're on deck. Nimbus, you're on the hole after the bad guys. Go ahead, Bones.
So Bone turns from the side after he got the sword that hit him, and he turns and he's like, "Don't touch the shell." And he takes 2 swings or a swing.
Swing. Make an attack roll. D20, please.
Oof, 7, and then I'm still trying to.
13 to hit. I think you had a +6, right?
Bones is a +6 to hit. Yes.
Yep. Yeah,
On
so that's a
actions,
13.
attack +6. Yeah. So 13.
Yeah. So you take your cutlass and swing across, and you make a solid contact across his chest with the blood oozing from his arrow wound. Roll your damage, please.
Nice.
Okay, so it's 6. Let me see. Is it? Yeah.
It's a D6 plus 4.
Yeah.
Yep.
8.
Yeah, you take the opening of the arrow wound and you just slice him across from his nipple to his belly, and he collapses over, blood streaming forth, and you can see his innards start to peek out from his belly area, and he is down and out. What other action would you like to take, sir?
I spit on him and say, "Bildrat."
Nice. All right, so he is deceased. All right, next up is Warren. Warren, your action, please.
So I'm gonna move up on this guy that's in a little bit of fog. 1, 2, 3. I think it's the end of my moves, right? And then I'm gonna swing my battle axe at him.
Okay, so because you're at the edge of the fog with him too. I'm just looking up heavily obscured real quick.
Yeah.
I think that puts you at disadvantage to attack.
I think it gives him a +5 AC.
Heavy
I'm not
obscured.
100% on that.
I like that one better.
Attack rolls against creature have advantage. Yeah, so it gives the blinded condition. So you're at disadvantage to swing. Sorry. Yep. So roll 2d20, and we'll take the lower. 4, and I think your modifier is of 10.
And then can I use my inspiration here?
If that's the case, then we would just take we would have had you rolled once, so we'll just take the 10, the higher of the dice instead, and it's a +4 at 14, and that hits. So please roll your damage, sir.
D8 plus 4.
I
3
can't-
plus 4, 7.
7 damage. Okay.
Yeah.
So you kind of swing into the darkness, and at first you don't feel contact, but as you're rearing your axe back to take another swing, you actually catch him on the backswing, and you hear a and a large spray of blood comes from the fog and lands on your face and speckled in your beard. What other
Isn't it I want to lick my beard?
what other action, sir?
I think that's it, right? I don't know what other actions I can do.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, pretty good round. Okay, cool. Then after Warren, so having taken a hit in the darkness, this guy does not like what's happened at all, and so he's going to swing with his scimitar, and he's going to aim low, and he is also at disadvantage. So we've got a 6. So as you're licking your beard, you're kind of, that tastes like salt water and copper. But you're kind of taken aback, and you see a scimitar come slashing out of the fog, and it's just short of your face. You don't take any damage. He misses, and then with that, you get an attack of opportunity as.
Nice.
I try to tame him with some food out of my pack.
That's great. Come along, little fella.
Sorry. He seems pretty undomesticated.
It's true.
I mean, we attacked him.
Hey,
Uh,
so
Are
you
we the
get-
baddies?
Make it an attack.
Make an attack. Roll.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Sorry.
Roll 2d20.
Oh shit. Sorry. 11. Oh shit. Ignore
Nope.
that one. That was a 12. I'm bad at clicking. So.
Yeah, so
11.
it's a disadvantage because it's in the darkness, and you come up short. But you do sense that he's definitely moved away from you. Yeah. So next in the order after that, Nimbus. What are your actions?
I am not able to see the guy in the cloud, correct?
You're not able to see either anyone at this point. No.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. I'm going to get to there. Because that seems like the best I'm probably able to do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm still not able to see the guy.
You don't see anybody, but
Okay.
you do hear a door being. You hear.
Okay, so Nimbus is going to take the dash action and be like, "You cannot escape the wrath of the Tritons, you cowards!" And keep on charging and get all the way back to there.
All right.
He's not sure which door was open, so when he gets to there, he's going to kind of try and feel around and see what's going on.
Yep.
And go, "Fight me! My glory awaits!"
So the door as you move up, the door on your left is definitely closed. But
Okay.
you see in front of you, the door in front of you is open. But you also see standing on your right hand side, kind of hanging out at the edge of the cloud, the fog cloud. Sorry. The scout or the gentleman with the bow standing to your right.
Sure.
Yep.
Cool. That's my turn.
All right. And so that's Nimbus's turn. Next up is Valkorian.
Valkorian is going to move 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. Actually, he's going to stay here. And I'm going to take the hide action.
Okay.
And go into stealth.
Okay. Roll me a d20. Good night, son. I love you.
13.
13. All right, noted. Okay, great. Dan, you get to take an attack of opportunity as the gentleman standing next to you takes his bow and puts it down. He holds it down to the side, and he begins to run towards the door.
Great. At disadvantage?
No, because when you take the attack, it's the square that he's leaving from you, which is no longer in the fog cloud.
Perfect.
So,
damn it. Doesn't hit.
all right. So that attack misses, and he continues moving forth. And as he passes through the door, it closes in front of you, and then you hear what appears to be some shuffling behind the door.
As an incidental, Nimbus will yell, "He's getting away! He's getting reinforcements!"
As an incidental, I'll yell back, "Oh, boys, be careful. There's at least 10 beds down here. There's quite a passel we're up against."
And with that, gentlemen, we are just about at our 2-hour mark, so we will put a pause on it. We are no longer in initiative at this moment. Would anyone like to take any actions at the end of our stream here?
I'm going to disperse this fog cloud once the door closes.
Okay, Lee, how do I erase just one part of a drawing? One drawing. I don't want to erase all drawings, just the one.
So you want to go to the select tool and
Uh-huh.
kind of draw a box around the drawing that you're after, and it should pull it up. You hit delete.
Okay. All right, it keeps grabbing characters. Okay, so you're gonna dispel. There it goes. You've dispelled the fog cloud, and you guys can definitely see the two doors to the southeast, and the room as I described it earlier. Is anyone else taking any other actions at the
Just
close?
want to kick one of the trunks at the foot of the bed open, just to get a feel for how well these guys would be armed. That get that kind of feel for them.
Yep. The trunk it tips over and it doesn't open.
Oh, it's locked.
Mm.
Oh, fucking dickheads.
And
Do we get a lock picking minigame?
I do have a lockpick thieves tools, but we won't do that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we should wait for the doors at least. I mean,
Yeah.
but I mean that's. I mean,
Right.
I can always bash one open. We can see what's inside. Not like we're worried about what's
We love
inside the
bashing.
hole. I
but
just love bashing.
these might be reinforced doors, and I'm worried about that.
They might
Yeah.
be reinforced chests.
All
Anyway.
right. So, as we get to the close of our stream tonight, let's hand out some XP real quick, gentlemen, if you don't mind. So we had 4 giant weasels that we killed, and the giant weasel itself, I believe, I want to be clear, I think it's worth 50 XP. 25 XP. So 25 times 4 is 100. And then for the other gentleman that you killed, he's worth 25. So that's 125 divided by 5. Everybody gets 25 experience points.
Okay.
Huzzah.
Man, this is gonna be slow to hit level 2, huh? We're at 25 of 300.
Yeah, but you get like extra for once you complete missions and stuff like
We
that.
got 16 for not getting arrested, so
Oh, we lost.
we're at 41.
Oh, looks like we lost.
Damn.
We lost. Nope. All right, there we go. We lost Aaron for a second. Yeah.
Oh.
So cool. We'll just go full screen video. That's perfect, actually. Yeah. So we're hitting out the XP. The party. Let's figure where we are. The party got together, decided they were going to look into the haunted house. They made their way to the haunted house. On the way there, they had a small boy that was asking them a lot of questions, following them out of town. I'd give experience points to the kid, but I pretty much put a roof and food in his mouth, so I think he's covered. As they made their way up to the house on the hill, they encountered some weasels, where some epic monk business and just overall great archery. It was a really cool combat, and the weasels were dispatched heavily. They made their way into the house and encountered some sort of trap of some sort. They were able to look past the trap and find a trap door into the cellar. They descended into the cellar, where they had 3 gentlemen waiting for them to waylay them in combat, and they got into a skirmish. They were able to dispatch one of the enemies. 2 of the enemies fled. One of them hurt fairly bad, the other untouched. They moved behind a door, and that is where we are at. So I want to thank the party. Really cool interactions between the characters. As far as combat goes, we were just rolling through it. Nobody was spending a lot of time trying to figure out what they were doing. Props to Devin and Aaron for really getting into it and figuring out how to. Hey, thank Don Sidious for the follow.
For not knowing what the fuck we were doing and then doing it.
Honestly, dude, playing D&D with people I haven't played before is a lot of fun. So you trying to figure things out and see what you can do is good to watch and see. Nonetheless, we'll pick up again next Monday where we are in combat. I'll save the initiative order. I'll save everybody where they're at. And yeah, with that, peace out, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you again next time.
Thanks
Thanks,
everybody.
guys.
Thank you.